Hello, everybody. I'm Kristin.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Outlander, Season 1, Episode 8, Both Sides Now. This is a good one.
Yeah.
It's not as good as The Wedding.
No, it's where we just came from lots of like sexy lovemaking to like two almost rapes.
Yeah. She does get almost raped twice in this episode. And it doesn't happen that many times again, but it doesn't stop happening either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that many times in one episode. It happens that many times, plus a couple. But not in one episode. They stay trying to rape everybody on this show.
Yeah.
So we pick up and Claire is sort of having,
honeymoon phase.
A honeymoon. Yeah, she's happy. Jamie's happy. They're super into it. They run into Jamie's mute friend, Heughan Rowe, who is one of my faves. He's so cute. I love him. Super fun. And I love that he has this sort of like, I don't know what the word I want to look for.
Language.
Yeah, well, it's sort of sign language, but not really. And it's really interesting. And it's where we find out about like the beggar's medallions, because he has like a bunch where he can like legally beg in multiple parishes. And he tells him about a guy who can potentially get the price off Jamie's head because he like saw what actually happened and that Jamie didn't kill a British soldier, except for then he kills 2 more British soldiers in this episode.
A trail.
Although they were deserters.
Yes.
So that would probably not get another.
No, they probably would be like, thanks for the favor, I guess, but also fuck you.
You also still killed them.
Yeah.
And also he does only kill one. Claire gets the other. So.
Which good. I love, like, not to get all kind of like violency or whatever, but like, I'm glad that asshole died with his dick out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What a death.
It's very, that quote from Lady Gaga before the House of Gucci premiere when she said, I don't condone or I don't glamorize murder or something, but I do love the like female power. Fuck, I totally forgot the entire quote. It's really funny the way she says it though, because she's like, I'm not for murder, but I am for like women sticking up for themselves.
Yes.
So she's like, you're kind of for the murder then. Like,
yeah.
So Jamie's actually pretty excited because he's got a smoking hot wife and he might be about to get off the charges with the price on his head. So he's super into all that. They are still making their way. Are they still doing rents or are they like doing something else now?
They must be making their way back.
Okay.
I have to feel like, because
like they did like a loop.
Yeah, because I feel like they went far enough away that Claire really couldn't run away.
Yeah.
But what is the name? Is it Leoch? Is where?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like Leoch has to be close enough to Inverness because that's where they initially picked up Claire. So they have to be rounding back.
Okay. I think it's like 15 miles.
Something
so it's like
that.
still too far to like by foot in unfamiliar terrain.
Right.
So yeah, you're probably right. They probably did one of these around Scotland. So they're still moving around then. And then what happens next? Well, that's when they're set upon by the British deserters. And then just prior to that, they actually teach Claire how to like knife someone, which is pretty sweet. And then she uses the tips.
Which again, I love that they're supporting this woman.
Yeah.
They're just like, you're part of our band now, so you should have a dagger.
Yeah.
And I love that that Dougal and was it Ned that was discussing it, or Rupert that or Myrta, I think it was Myrta and Dougal saying that
poison
that poison should be a woman's weapon.
The only weapon for a woman should be poison, and Dougal's like, yeah, but it's not really great in combat.
Yeah,
like,
just throw arsenic at you.
Do love it though. I mean, if you have some sort of powdered poison,
give it time. We come up with mustard gas, it's soap and pee, I think is how they figured it out. Yeah. If you're like dyeing
ammonia?
if you're dyeing your hair and you're like washing it out, they tell you not to pee in the shower because you mustard gas yourself basically.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's something to do with the ammonia and like, or whatever is in the dye.
Huh.
Yeah.
I almost want to go do an experiment now.
God, what happened to Krista, guys? Well, I told her some interesting information and she had to go try it for herself. Yeah.
That's hilarious, actually. That is super fascinating. I feel like I need to at least look that up to see how true that is. And also, is it like based on your own internal pH and stuff? Like if you're very hydrated, will it still happen?
Probably. It's like it'll just knock you out instead of killing you. I'm sure that they're chemistry. whatever. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Jamie knifes the one in the back because he's about to rape her. And
no, Claire knifes
him. Claire knifes in the back.
Yeah, Jamie just straight up fucking slits that guy's throat.
Well, as soon as the other one is shocked that a woman just stabbed his buddy, Jamie gets the drop on him and like
does like a spin. Yeah. He grabs the musket and
out of his
flips
hand.
around and just goes all the way out. Yeah,
amazing, incredible, brilliant, amazing, talented, incredible. I'm really in a Gaga mood right now, apparently. So the rest of the clan like stumble upon them, find them, and are like, "Are you okay?" And Claire's going into shock, and they're doing all of this, and so they are still going to meet this Horrocks guy who Monroe told them is the one that could get the price off Jamie's head.
And Claire is mad. I love the picture that
yep,
it's on IMDb because what a stink face.
She's just like,
yeah, it's just bad. And she's like, the voiceover is that she was angry, but she wasn't. Angry.
She didn't know why.
Yeah, she was like, she wasn't angry about what happened or anything like that. But she was, and then she says it's because she was clouded by what was going on and lost focus of her plan. And it's just like, why? I understand. Yeah. I understand to go back to your own time. People still rape, but at least you have like toilets. So like, I mean, kind of like this, you know. But
that's the most incredible dichotomy I've ever heard of. You could still get raped in the 1940s, but at least there's a toilet. You're like,
I take going to the bathroom very personally. I need my space. Mm-hmm. I would never poop at all ever if I had to like poop in a hole. It would be terrible.
Or just like in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be King Louis in season 2 when he can't poop. God. Because everyone's standing there watching him.
They really are.
Yes. And also while he's eating his cheese and chocolate. So, and then the Highlanders were like, eat porridge.
Is that why? Do you want to get gout? Because that's how you get gout. Red meat and red wine and chocolate and cheese. That's how you get gout.
I just got really excited for dinner tonight.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be real good. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, pooping aside.
Yes, pooping aside, you can still get raped at any time.
Yeah, yeah.
Go cut that out. That's horrible. I shouldn't have said that. That was horrible.
But was it? It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. But it's horrible. I don't want it to seem like we're making super light of it.
No, not at all. Rape is terrible. Rape is very bad.
They both say while chuckling. Okay. We have to get it together.
I'm sorry, I got the wheezes now. Okay.
Oh boy.
It's fine.
All right. So they are going to meet the Horrocks guy, and they, even though it's like potentially a trap, so that's why they're all going. So they leave Claire with Willie, mistake number 1. First of all, they leave her behind.
Yeah.
Mistake number 1. They leave her with Willie, mistake number 2. They didn't let Willie have a bathroom break first. Mistake number 3.
Rounding back around to
the poop. Because he goes off into the woods.
She tells him go 50 yards and downwind.
To take care of personal business.
Yeah.
And then she's just sort of like meandering around, and she realizes that Craig Nadoon is literally right there. And so she like takes off running like a shot. And she literally almost makes it.
Like Rock like is right here. She's like there.
1 inch away. Because like I don't want her to go back, obviously, but it is so frustrating narratively that she's so close. And then a bunch of redcoats grab her.
Yeah, because she's coming up the backside and they're on the other side and she's screaming Frank. And it's like, girl, if you had just run, you would have made it.
She can hear him, though, through the stones, which is sort of one of the things that's fascinating to me. Because that's something we didn't mention. Interspersed through this episode are scenes from Frank in the 1940s. Coming sort of to grips. I love when the cop tells him off and it's just like, she fucking left you for the Highlander. That's exactly what happened. You like, there's no other excuse. You can't say anything else. And he just gets so pissed. And then like Reverend Wakefield is still trying to help him, which is really sweet. I love how like close friends they are and that they like sort of stay. And finally, Mrs. Graham does tell him that like there are these stones and like I think that's what happened. Like I think she went through time, but they always come back. And he like blessedly is not mean to her about it.
Which I have always respected. I love that he just says respectfully, I don't share your opinion.
He's like,
I don't share your beliefs.
I heard you, I just don't believe it. But he's not a dick about it. He doesn't laugh or like call her stupid or anything. And I do like that, especially because Reverend Wakefield is actually kind of a dick about it.
But I mean, it goes against his
whole
church.
religion. Yeah.
So, but I just think it's really funny that he's like, it's twiddle twaddle and superstition. And it's like,
it's so true.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I don't, you guys, because she talks about how like the songs and the ballots and all that. And they always say that the travelers come back. And he was just like, oh, so, fiddle faddle or whatever. Yeah. And it's just like, you sing song in church all the time. It's the same thing, guys.
Yeah, I agree. I
just like the fairies better. They're more fun. But I also think it's really interesting because we don't get this side of Frank in the books.
Yeah.
And I like that we get a little bit of a rounder view of who he is as a person.
Yeah.
And I also like that we kind of get a glimpse of the Blackjack lineage because he whole hog almost murders, like beats a man to death.
2 of them.
Yeah, because obviously there's a reward out. Mm-hmm. And so this girl comes and sits next to him at a bar and says, I know where the Highlander is. Come at 12:30 or whatever. And so he shows up and it's 2 dudes and they're like, give us the reward or whatever. And he pulls out, I don't know what it's called. It's like a little hand mallet thing.
It's almost I want to say it's something like a billy club, but those are longer.
Yeah, but
it almost looks like a butt plug if we're being honest.
It really does. It really does.
A pretty you have to have been doing butt plug stuff for a while.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is not for newbies.
That's not
sure.
for a first timer.
Yeah. But so the woman is like having to get on top of Frank to be like, you're going to kill him. You're going to kill him. And then he strangles her.
Yeah.
And you have to see, you see the decision that he
has
makes.
to turn it off.
Yeah. And it's like, it's because it's your lineage, my guy. You are violent.
And you don't have a Duke of Sandringham to clean up your mess.
No. So I thought that was really interesting. Although when he is on his side of Craig Nadoon and he's like, he decides to go just try just in case, and he has his Stella moment. I kind of hate it every time. Like the first the weeping and whispering it, I don't mind, but he really just leans back and lets it go.
I'll tell you this right now, no one can pull that off like Brando.
Oh no, we should never try ever again.
And I'm not even a huge Brando person, but no one can do that.
No,
he did that.
And anyone that tries, it just immediately
it's bad.
Goes to that. But yeah, and I like that. I mean, we never really get confirmation, but I like that it's a possibility that he heard Claire as well when she was screaming Frank. So I thought that was really neat. The timey-wiminess of it all.
I agree. And then we kind of get to a place where obviously the Redcoats grab her, and so they are taking her to Fort William, and we get into another really rapey place because she's immediately placed in a room with Blackjack Randall, and he is like, I don't care if you think you're a Scot or you think you're an English woman, you're gonna stay here until you answer all of my questions, blah blah blah. And she does a gambit, and she does it good for a minute, but she doesn't have quite enough information. And it's this moment where I'm like, should have listened to your husband a little bit more about his hobbies, shouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, if I were unsure about whether or not the Duke of Sandringham had a wife, I probably would have just answered his question with a question, or just been like, I'm not going to tell you.
Or also, I didn't know he had a wife. And then he would be like, but then he's stymied because he knows that there is no wife.
Yeah.
And you just are like, I wouldn't know. That's not something I know.
And when he was like, well, if you're on an errand for the Duke, it's of the Duchess. And then why couldn't have she just been like, well, we're on 2 different assignments.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. She
folds so quickly.
Like a cheap suit.
She really does.
I do appreciate her commitment to it at the beginning though, too. Because
smug as fuck.
The minute she says the Duke of Sandringham, he literally spit takes his line. Hilarious. And then she kind of has an upper hand for a few minutes until he brings up the Duchess, and then it's a hard no. And so he has a rope in his desk. And I always thought it was weird when she says, what kind of gentleman has a rope in his desk? And I'm like,
he's not.
Well, not even that, because he technically is an English gentleman. But also I feel like a lot of them is rope not just something you would need at hand sometimes?
Twine more so than I think than
actual
a rope.
I mean, fair, but also it just is not. If I were to go into any of the men in the show's office and saw a rope, I wouldn't immediately think he was using it for like bondage games.
Well, I think if it were on the desk, that sends a different message than in the desk.
Hidden in the desk?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
But also, he is a fucking psychopath.
He is a psychopath. he is a sadist, and he is using it for bondage games. But it always struck me as weird because I'm just sort of like, again, you're right. You're just like, well, he's not a gentleman in the first place. And in the second place, I just feel like rope would be kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't have duct tape or like zip ties. What else are you going to put your, like, gather your stuff together with?
Yeah.
Rope.
Yeah.
So regardless, he immediately turns on a dime when he realizes that she's lying. And that's when it gets pretty rapey. And he cuts all her ribbon, all her corset ribbon.
Yeah. And because you're like, you know, why cut the stays? Because now she just can't wear it again. I'm like, if it were me and I survived this, I would just burn it. Because what obviously. A bad luck outfit.
You almost raped twice in this outfit.
Yeah.
I agree with you, obviously, but it is also just like, that's so mean.
And clothes aren't easy and fast to come by because you effectively have like 3 outfits for a whole year, if that. So
you know how much that ribbon costs? That's why in Pride and Prejudice, it was like a whole thing to go to town and buy ribbons. That was like a whole outing.
Yeah. Yep. And then just like wanting to flay a nipple off too. And it's just
super yucky.
Yikers.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But thankfully, at the very last minute, Jamie comes and he's in the window. He says, "Take your hands off my wife."
I love it.
And it's awesome.
And then fucking Randall's face is just like euphoric.
He's like, it's you. Oh my God. His face is like hilarious to me because you are right. It is euphoric. He gets giddy like a little boy. He's so excited to see Jamie again. It's super creepy and gross. And then we had to wait 6 months for a new episode.
But we don't have to.
We don't have to now.
Yeah.
We're going to go watch episode 9 right now. And we'll be
back.
right back.
I'm that ready. I'm just like,
okay, bye.